Hare opportunity. Hare Krishna. Thank you for being here. Uh, so I'll just go back a few years. I went to Ballarat with a group of friends, right? So we, like everybody, we started digging, and then one of my friend, he digged, and then he found something, but he wasn't sure what that was, and he was pretty sure that it was definitely not gold, and he threw it. 6 minutes later, someone else picked it up. It turned out to be gold, which was worth $1,000 or $1,200, something in that time. So there we are only talking about $1,200, $1,300. But the reason I mentioned that story is to be in the association of devotees and having someone like His Grace Arjun Sakha Prabhu with us. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity, and let's not just throw it away, because please listen with rapt attention. Would really like to see you ask me some questions, because for those of us in the organizing committee, or for some of the people here, we know how hard it is to get Arjun Sakha Prabhu, especially in Kartik, right? I also got warned. You're using him a bit more too much in your Bhakti. So he said, we are only giving you 3 programs. So we are really, really fortunate to have Prabhu here. And Prabhu is one of the senior most brahmacharis in our ISKCON temple. He is known for his soul-stirring kirtans. I'm not kidding. There were occasions in which Prabhu was doing kirtan in the temple, and I was crying like a little child. So Prabhu's kirtans really, really touch our heart, and his lectures are very thought-provoking. So I'm pretty sure, I'm 200% sure, you will go really fulfilled, with a lot of fulfillment from here. But all you need to do is please give your 100% attention and ask some questions like I mentioned. Thank you so much for your time, Prabhu. It means so much for us. I know we trouble you. We just pull you out from your busy schedule. Because I'll tell you one thing, right? So as it's okay, we are 30s, 40s. I'm 20. That's a different story. But yeah, I can see a lot of 30s and 40s here. For us, we want to hear bhakti, because we are in the material world, and then we are sick and tired of that life, and we want bhakti. But youngsters, teenagers, those people run to the temple Saturday evening. You know why? Because they get association of Prabhu. So the youth, and then teenagers, youth, those kind of people, you don't have to tell them, go to the temple, do this, do that. Every Saturday evening they run, because they know they are going to get association of Prabhu. So now you can tell from that, it's very, very heart-touching kirtans, and Prabhu's words are very, very important. So I won't take too much of your time now. Thank you, Prabhu. Let us please welcome Prabhu by loudly chanting Hare Krishna 3 times. And I want to, I know majority of us, Prabhu is our favorite speaker. So I want you to show that in your voice when you're saying Hare Krishna 3 times. Yeah?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Very important information. Am I loud enough? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Very important information that introductions are meant to be exaggerations. So that just so that you all know. So you did well.
Even if there is 1% exaggeration in it,
I
won't be touching sweet this evening.
Before I start, I want to thank Arya is there with me since morning. I think 10:45 we are together. This is our second program. He's a very good Madanga player. These kids are studying so hard. Then all these instruments they play, and then he's accompanying me also. I'll quickly offer some praise and then we can start. Maybe, if required, maybe we can move forward, then you're expecting more people, bro?
No problem, we can start.
अवज्ञातमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया
चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीगणापत्कमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सगुणामृतं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Who amongst you were there Friday night? Friday night, right? Yesterday.
Yesterday.
So many programs. Okay, wrong question. Who was not there? Please, I would really want to see the reason. Okay. So Saturday you were not there. Okay, nice. For those of you who were not there, a quick brief on why we all are here. You must be aware of it anyways, but it's a very, very auspicious, very special month we are in. This is a month which is sought after amongst those who have some inclination to progress in their spiritual journey. They wait all year long for this month to come. Because, just imagine, just think about it. In your Google search, suddenly you get a page open that you just go to JB Hi-Fi or Good Guys, you just pay $1 and anything over $1,000 you can buy. We'll go crazy. There will be stampede in these shopping centers. You just enter DFO, put a dollar coin, anything worth 1,000 you can pick up. There are multiple scriptures, many Qurans, which speaks about the glory of this month. And any spiritual activity done in this month gets 1,000 times more benefit. And that's why devotees, they plan such event at their place. Even though it is hard work, even though it takes a lot of effort, so much of preparation, arrange the house, shift the furniture, cook or get cooking done, money is spent, energy is spent, so that they can create this opportunity for themselves and facilitate others in their discount journey. The discount that is available. So now what makes this month so special is Radharani herself, who is none other than Mother of Devotion. She is the in charge of this month. And every month has an in charge. But Kartik month, she is the in charge. She is the predominating deity of this month. And she is very merciful. Her kindness makes this month even more special. In this particular month, many important events have taken place. The most famous is Diwali. Anyone knows what happened on Diwali? Yes.
Rama and Sita Lakshman returned from the forest?
You were there Saturday? Yesterday you were there. Very nice. Lord Ram with Mother Sita, thank you, very nice. And Lakshman along with whole Vanar Sena, they came back to Ayodhya. It's a very beautiful description if you read in Ramayana. When they were coming back to Ayodhya, the joy they experienced because Ram and Sita are coming back to Ayodhya after 14 years was so intense that they decided that they will wash the whole city, they will decorate the whole city, complete Rangoli, and then they will light the whole city in welcoming Lord Ram. That's why Diwali, all these things we do. The whole idea of Diwali is let Ram and Sita enter our heart. But what Diwali has reduced to? You worship Ganesh ji so that he can remove obstacles, so that Lakshmi can freely come in. So Lakshmi Ganesh Puja happens with this very focused idea. Vighna Vinashak Ganpati removes the obstacles for Lakshmi to come. But Diwali has much more deeper meaning. Another very interesting thing happened in this month. Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill. Govardhan Hill, which is not different from Krishna himself, it is Supreme Lord Krishna, it is worshipped as Krishna, was lifted by Krishna because Indradev got very upset on Prajavasis. Then another very interesting thing happened, that is Damodar Leela. That's why this month is also known as Damodar Mas or Damodar month. If you can see this photo, the small photo where you will all be offering lamps later, where Mother Yashoda is trying to tie Krishna on his belly, with his belly rope around his belly through a grinding mortar. It's called Okhal. This is Okhal Bandhan Leela also. You've seen in olden days, ladies, they would have this mortar and they would have a heavy stone stick and they would put spices and then they would make this whole spices into powder, right? But if you haven't seen it, you really can't imagine what I'm saying. But if you have seen it, you know what I'm saying, Now, this generation has no clue what is Okhal. What is this grinding mortar? Only thing we know is there is a machine, you put things in, it grinds and gives you powder. But they would do manually. So that is also in this month. And many other occasions have taken place in this month. So we want to utilize this month, especially tonight, with some discussion about topics which we are not keenly discussing on a regular basis. When life gets so challenging and so hard and really presses us down, we really don't bother to discuss these very deep topics. And one such topic is how to nourish soul within. One time what happened, there were 4 friends. These 4 friends, they were so close to each other. You know what is Sharbat? So they were Sharbat friends. Now you can understand what they were friends. Kids are there, I will not say. So they would weekly meet for Sharbat party. And then they decided on their Sharbat party that now we want to have a cage at home and we all want to have bird in the cage, and in our living room like this, we will have this cage. So depending on their financial status, they all went to buy. But there was one guy amongst the 4 who was from very low-to family. So he could only afford a cage which is made of wood. The other guy was little more financially stable, so he bought a silver-coated cage. The other one bought a golden-coated cage. The 4th friend was multimillionaire. He bought a platinum cage. And when he went home, his wife, seeing the beauty of this platinum cage and this bird inside, decided, I will put my favorite jewels on top because it will decorate our living room. So now all the 4 friends, they went home, bird is there inside, they have this cage. And all of them decided we will take really nice care of this cage. So the guy with platinum bought real platinum polish, the gold did the same, silver did the same, and the guy with wooden decided I will clean every day with clean water and fresh cloth. After 1 week, they met again for the Sharbat party. But the discussion is a little different now. Then all 4 of them are speaking to themselves and thinking, why this cage doesn't feel the same? There is no
there is no attraction in the cage anymore. What is missing? And then they started saying, no, I do proper polish, I do best polish, I am not compromising on the quality. So there was another guy sitting next to them who was also enjoying his Shabbat. So that guy told, I know one Swamiji, we'll go to him, he will solve our problem. So he takes all the 4 friends to the Swamiji and they tell their problem. We bought this cage, this is the issue. The cage doesn't look as attractive as it used to be when we purchased it. First question only, Swamiji solved their problem. Swami asked, you are decorating and cleaning the cage very nicely. Are you feeding the bird or no? And they are thinking to themselves, do we have to? Are we supposed to feed the bird? They were spending so much time in decorating the cage and in maintaining and cleaning the cage that they forgot that they could have really maintained this cage with all its attractiveness just by feeding the bird with 2 cents of chili or grain, whatever. This is exactly our life. Everyone, based on our own capacities, we have our own cages. Some may be living in Turak, some may be living in Point Cook with a double-story house with 5 bedrooms. Some may be living in this suburb, some may be living in that suburb. Someone may be driving Mercedes, someone may be struggling with Toyota Corolla 2010 model or whatever. We all have our own cages. We all have our own packages. And we all have our own body also, which is like a cage. All the time we are spending is just to decorate and polish this cage. And then after some years of decoration and polish, we come to a conclusion. There's something wrong. There is no attractiveness in my life. Why am I stressed out? Why is anxiety? What's causing it? I am doing everything. I brought the best polish. I gave best education to my children. I made sure they go to Susan Kori. I made sure they were in Melbourne Grammar. But why their life and my life is so unattractive? I am working in top-paying IT job. I have my own business. Why my life is so unattractive? Because the soul within, which is the bird, this poor bird which is starving inside, is getting weaker and weaker and weaker because we don't feed the bird, which is Atma within. You don't have to tell, but you can all be honest to yourself. In your day, how much time we actually spend on taking care of the soul? And how much time compared to that we spend on taking care of body and mind? It's very embarrassing. और पड़ोसी की आत्मा नहीं है. It's not your neighbor's soul, it's you. It's you who have to take care of your own soul. But zero interest, zero effort. Now why so is an interesting discussion. How many of you have heard this term called social conformity? Only one person? You know what is social conformity? That society and its pressure, they decide what success should look like. Or they decide whatever activity they do as reality for you. So there is one very interesting experiment. You can search on YouTube. If I had some source, I would have showed you. But in this experiment, they hired a clinic. The doctor is also working with them. 13 artists are sitting in the corridor who are all paid artists to get this experiment done. Now one real patient comes, genuine patient comes to see the doctor. So what happens? Every time doctor rings the bell, beep, for the next patient to come, what these 13 artists will do, they will stand up and they will sit. So now this 14th person who is a real patient, he is thinking, these 13 people are getting up and sitting again, but I am just sitting. Is there something wrong I am doing? And second time it happens. Patient goes in, which is an artist, beep, everyone gets up. And third time this person got so much pressure. Then what he did, when peak happened for the next patient's call, he got up and he sat. To your surprise, gradually all the artists one by one started exiting and new patients who were real patients started coming in. To a degree that all 14 are new real patients, no artist anymore in the room. Every time peak, everyone gets up and sits down. And all of them are real patients, no artists. This is social conformity. This is what pressure does to us. This is exactly how it works. Now, every century or decade, you will see the parameter of being happy and successful changes. Especially in kids, you will see, you don't have PS5? Your life is miserable. or young adults, you don't have PS5? Oh. And this is exactly what propaganda does to you. This is exactly what propaganda does to you. Very interesting thing I'll tell you. All of us are nothing but a product of someone else's propaganda which we have purchased. All of us. Now someone can say, no, this is over exaggeration. I run my life on my own terms. I make my own decisions. But I'm very sorry to say no. The brands you choose, someone else propagates and you purchase to their deal. The fashion you do, hairstyle, watches you wear, cars you drive, suburb you choose, schools you send your kids to, you just name it. Everything is a propaganda created by someone which you have purchased. We are nothing but a product of someone else's propaganda. Virat Kohli has a beard this way, half of the India has beard this way. Dhoni has long hair, people have long hair. Before, if you were wearing torn clothes, you looked down upon, but now because a movie star is wearing, it is fashion. A certain way of dressing done by some actress becomes trend which was abominable in that same house just few months before, which was really chill, what they're wearing. But then it becomes norm. And norm means if anyone who doesn't really abide by it, you know what, how we see that person? We see that person left behind. Left behind in rat race.
Loser.
We really call them loser. You're a loser, really. So we are very smart in terms of going very fast. But as soon as someone shakes us up and asks a simple question, sir, where are you going? My dear ma'am, do you know the goal of life, purpose of life? Yes. I have a goal of life. What? I want a 2-story house. Which is fine. If you have a desire and if you have resources, you have a 2-story house. But that becoming purpose of life is something very heartbreaking for someone who knows deeper meaning of life. That if your resources allow, you can drive Mercedes, no problem. But that is the sole purpose of your life and nothing more, nothing deeper. One time there was a plane in which passengers were sitting and suddenly pilot made an announcement. My dear passengers, you all are creating history and you are part of that history. And what is the history we are making? We are first plane in the history of airlines business who is flying at this speed. Suddenly all the phones came out. Reels are being made, TikTok videos are made, because they are creating history. And then the pilot says, sorry, but I don't know where I'm going. This becomes life of most of the people, especially who think or who aim to be really successful just on external means. That if they're very honest to themselves, but they have to be honest. If they're very honest to themselves and they really question, and that's why I say this many times, it's very intelligent to stop, revisit, and rethink about your life. It's very intelligent to do that sometimes. We are in such a pace all the time that we don't get a chance to really stop and rethink and revisit our own lives. And that's what such occasions can do if we take advantage of. Because abhi to फंस गए, you're stuck here. For whatever few more minutes you can't go anywhere. You agreed to your friend, okay, I'll come. I'll come for your home program, whatever it is. And now there is a person with no hair sitting in front of you speaking all this. You're stuck here to hear me now. But please, really, please think about it a little deeper. What actually this propaganda is doing to us. As I said before, none of us can claim that I do not accept propaganda, I choose my own self. When we are product of someone's propaganda, intelligent person chooses whose propaganda I want to live by. When someone's propaganda has to work on me, why can't I figure out the best, most powerful, intelligent way of living my life? And that's where someone who is little bit connected to spiritual teachings, they understand that why don't I live by the propaganda of person who has created this creation? And he knows he is the most intelligent person to tell me how to live happily here and after. Like yesterday I was mentioning about my experience when I met this Christian person on street. And I asked a very straightforward question to this person. And my question to him was, on what basis do you define a person who is born in rich family, poor family, or handicapped condition? What makes this difference happen? And the only answer this person had was good luck or bad luck. Based on good luck and bad luck, people get family choices. That means whatever family we are born in, it's either our good luck or bad luck. And nothing more than that. If I am born in a rich family, it is my good luck. If I am born in a poor family, that's my bad luck. Do you really agree to that? No? Then how it is decided? I told you yesterday, you were there, you will know. We'll settle that. That's it. On what basis do we really define so much disparity, so much change, so much difference between people? Because this person was telling me, God is good, God is just, God is great, God is all love and nothing else. So if God is all love, God is just, God is great, then why people are suffering? Anyone wants to answer? Why people are suffering? If God, see, only two possibilities are there. Either God is not good, or if He is really good and He is just and He is all loving, there is something else happening. So if God is perfect and He only wants our happiness and He is in full control of our happiness, then why are people suffering? You know, in Australia, there was a stat, I'll just give you a stat. By the time 950 odd people died in Australia in the first wave of COVID, 1080 people committed suicide in the same period. What a just kind, loving God. So this Christian boy I was speaking to, he only answer he had, because while I gave him Bhagavad Gita, I said this talks about karma, reincarnation, life after death. But his reply was, no, anything that happens has to be either good luck or bad luck. Because according to his belief or background, we only live once. There is only one life. So there is not multiple lives. We are not on a journey. So because we are not on a journey, there is not much we can do to change or tweak our lives. And that's where this very important principle must be understood, which is law of karma. Why good thing happens to bad people and bad thing happens to good people is a very common question. And most of the time we put ourselves in the category of good people, but bad things are happening to me. Do you know the meaning of this word, this term oxymoron? Who knows what is oxymoron? Oxymoron literally means when you combine two words with different meanings together. Like dry water. Water cannot be dry. If it is water, it has to be wet. So oxymoron is two meanings of opposition coming together to form a sentence or a explanation of something. Like disciplined teenager. No, some are good. Everyone is there joking. So one such oxymoron is innocent victim. If you are a victim, you can't be innocent. This is law of karma. Now we say, "Arey, chota sa bachcha tha, usne kya kiya? Poor boy, just born, just 2 years old. He hasn't even seen the world. Why so much suffering?" Law of karma is very, very just. It does not discriminate. ऐसा नहीं that the Lord is sitting there with a bucket in his hand, where a lot of chits are inside, and he will take one chit out. Okay, you go handicapped. Okay, you go poor family. You go rich family. Then what sort of just loving God is he? Because we all are on a journey, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, accruing so much karmic reactions, we fail to understand really what exactly is deciding our course of happiness or distress. Do you know Dhritarashtra from Mahabharata? Dhritarashtra, father of Duryodhana, very famous character. Duryodhana and his father Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra asked this question to Krishna. It's a very interesting question. He asked this question to Krishna. Krishna, don't you think life is very unjust? This is so unfair on me that first of all, I am the elder son. I am born blind. I can't be the king. Then, my son Duryodhana was born after Yudhishthira. In Mahabharata, actually what happened, Gandhari was pregnant before Kunti. So she is carrying the child or many children later, but at least in her womb she is ready. And Kunti has no children because Pandu, husband of Kunti, is cursed by a rishi that if you unite with your wife, you will die. So now Pandu tells Kunti that we are king, we want children. We want children. But I cannot unite with you because I will die. Mahabharata, the problem with Mahabharata is I really think Mahabharata is like YouTube. Mahabharata is like YouTube. You play one video and then there are 20 more options. You get into one video, to another video, to another video, to another video. By the time you realize 2-3 hours are gone. Mahabharata is exactly like that. If I have to explain one story full, I have to get into 5 stories. And then by the time I finish, where did I start? I don't know. So Pandu was hunting in the forest, and while hunting, he thought it's a deer, and he shot the deer. But actually, these were male and female rishis who wanted to now give birth to a child. So they decided that we will take form of deer and then we unite. So then when Pandu shot, Brahman, the powerful rishi, came back to his original form and he said, "You have killed a Brahmana, but you must be cursed to death." Pandu said, "But I did not kill a Brahmana, I killed a deer. You were in deer form, you were not in a rishi form." But then the rishi said, "Because we were in the sacred act of uniting for begetting life, you killed that time. So now I curse you. Whenever you want to unite with your wife to give birth to a child, you will die." So now Pandu had no option. They had no children. He is the king. He has to have next generation to rule the kingdom. So the only option Pandu has is wait for what destiny brings forth. Then Kunti comes to Pandu and tells, "I have this mantra. This mantra was given to me by Durvasa Rishi when I pleased him. And Durvasa Rishi told me, you can call for any devata and you can have a child." Pandu became so excited. First thing Pandu did with that mantra, he told Kunti, "See, this is little revolutionary, what we are trying to do now. I am telling my wife that you get a child from a devata. This is something out of the box. It normally doesn't happen. So what we will do, first devata we will call will be Dharmaraj, which is Yamaraj himself. If Dharmaraj agrees to do it, that means it is dharmic, it is general. That's why first child was Yudhishthira, who was born from Dharmaraj. Then Pandu said, I want a very physically very powerful son. So you call the most powerful devata, which is Vayu. Then Bhima was born. Then Pandu told Kunti, now I have Dharmaraj's blessing, I have power also. I want a devotee of Lord Vishnu. So you approach Indra, who is a natural devotee of Vishnu. And now you ask child from Indra. Then Arjun was born. That's why Arjun was very special. And Indra is known for his chivalrous prowess in the battles also. So then Pandu told Kunti, now again I want. Kunti said, scripture says, only in emergency also you can do this for 3 times. So I am not doing it anymore. Now Pandu wanted more children. Simultaneously, Madri, who is second wife of Pandu, her insecurity started. Ladies can relate to that. That I don't have children. Kunti has. She will be the favorite of the king. I also want children. So she approached Pandu. Pandu requested Kunti. Kunti knew that I can give the mantra, but Madri played smart. Madri thought that what if Kunti will not give me this mantra again? So in first time only I will ask for twins. In one time only I will ask for twins. So at least I have 2 children. So she prayed for Ashwini Kumars, two Ashwini Kumars. And they gave her Nakul and Sahadev. So now Pandu was satisfied, he has 5 children. But when Yudhishthira was not even in the picture, conception takes place, womb is there, the womb grows, then delivery happens. Gandhari is already ready for Duryodhana to come. That's why I said Mahabharata, very difficult. You have to go back to the original story why I started this. And that was Dhritarashtra. He's complaining to Krishna why I am so always left out. I was born blind. Being elder, I could not become the king. Now, my son also is younger to Yudhishthira. So, Gandhari's delivery was delayed. More and more. And suddenly she hears the news that Yudhishthira came. She became so upset. Mahabharata is a very graphic book. It explains, she started beating her own womb. She started beating herself so much that a big lump of flesh fell off her body. And then she started crying, what did I do? Did I kill my children? Then Vyasadeva, who is incarnation of Lord, was requested to come and solve the problem. First time test tube babies were experimented, perfectly done by Vyasadeva. Mahabharata even gives the detail of what liquids Vyasadeva used. He divided that lump of flesh into 100 pieces and he put them in pots and then put them in the ground for child to take birth. He created an artificial womb in 100 pots which had ghee and some other ingredients he had. It's not a biology class, I'm not going into detail. But then 100 sons are gone, but Yudhishthira was first. So Dhritarashtra was very upset that why such injustice. On top of it, Dhritarashtra had 100 sons and 100 of them were killed in the battle. So this was his complaint to Krishna. What made this injustice to happen? And it brings us to a very, very important point that if you want to be peaceful in life, this is just one mantra of being peaceful. There are many mantras and the most powerful mantra we all did, Hare Krishna mantra, but this simple mantra if you can really apply in your life, you will be very peaceful. That is, no one is to be blamed for your happiness and distress. The only person to be blamed for your happiness and distress is you. No one else. Because no one else has the capacity to give you pain or pleasure. Everyone in your life is nothing but an instrument. Husbands are telling their wife they come marry. Suppose I take a bat. What's your name?
Mine. Ketan.
Ketan. If I take a bat and I start beating Ketan, and Ketan goes to police and files a FIR against the bat, you will really say, Ketan ke lagta hai sar to lag gaya bat. The bat has really injured him well. Because why is he filing a case on the bat? Why not on the person who is beating him? But our whole life we spend doing that only. We are constantly blaming the instruments who are just nothing but instruments giving us our own pain and pleasure. We glorify the instruments when they give pleasure, and we complain and criticize the instruments when they give pain. That can be people around us, our colleagues, our children, whoever. All the time we are just doing nothing but blaming the instruments. The day you understand they are only instruments providing you, delivering you pain and pleasure. Because, remember the oxymoron? Innocent victim. Nobody is a victim if they are innocent, and if you are innocent, you can't be a victim. Very simple. Because law of karma is very just. And this was Dhritarashtra's question to Krishna. Why so much injustice? Krishna took him 50 plus lifetimes back to explain why he suffered the way he suffered. Born blind, being elder can't become king, 100 sons killed in the battle. And Krishna told him, you were a hunter. You and your wife were hunting, and you saw two birds on the tree. Trying to capture these birds, trying to scare them so that you can capture, you burn the tree down. From the fire that came out of the tree, these two birds got blind and they flew away and they died later. But that bird had 100 basically eggs of that same bird on the tree which you burned alive. So immediately Dhritarashtra said, which we also would have said, suppose you damage your knee and you can't remember anything doing anything bad in this life which caused this serious damage. And if someone tells you, 4 lifetimes before you did this, our immediate responsibility, that time only you would have finished. Why now? Why am I suffering now? If you wanted to give pain that time itself, you could have done and dusted. Dhritarashtra asked exactly the same question. Why now, Krishna? I did that 50 lifetimes before. Krishna said, to get one son, you have to do punya, you have to do piety. For this 50 odd lifetimes, you collected so much piety that you can have 100 sons, so that law of karma can strike you now. It is that just. This system is so just. There is no by chances happening in this world. There is no event taking in this world which is just random. Nothing happens in this world which does not have a cause behind it. Any science student have read causal theory? The theory of cause and effect. No effect in this world exists without a cause. And every effect will become a cause of another effect. In simple sense, it is called law of karma. Every action has an equal opposite reaction. Or in Australian slang, they say the boomerang effect. What goes around, comes around. That's how in Aussie slang you say. That's how boomerang is. You give pain, just wait for it. You eat pain, just wait for it. People just slaughter animals and they eat. You are eating pain, just wait and watch. How it will go around and it will come around. And you will be thinking, what did I do? Why it happened? I don't remember harming anyone. I just nicely went to the whole supermarket. It was such a nice package. I just picked it without disturbing anyone. I just came and I cooked. What is wrong? Why am I in distress? Yes, you did wrong. Please remember this. No random events takes place in this universe. This universe is very well planned. If you have a suffering, you should know there is a cause. And what is that cause? My own actions. That's why when someone's financial condition goes up and down and they get really distressed, one should very clearly know, whatever money has to come to you, it will come to you. Nobody can stop it as long as you're acting. You're trying to work towards that. There's a very nice saying. It says, "Nahi shuktasya singasya pravishyanti mukhe mridam." A deer never enters in the mouth of a sleeping tiger or a lion. If a lion is sleeping with open mouth, deer come inside. That will never happen. Because our philosophy, many people when they criticize Vedic culture or Sanatana Dharma, they say, oh, you are just fatalistic. You just believe on fate. Kismat wali. You just believe on fate. We are not fatalistic. We are realistic. Nahis Suktasya Singha say, if the lion doesn't go on a chase, he cannot catch a deer. But lion can only catch a deer if it is destined for him. So these two principles must be understood properly. I will only get what I deserve only when I act for it. That's why if someone is doing inaction, there is no result. One time one person went to an astrologer. He showed his hand. He said, Are Shani ka prakop hai. Very intense effect of Shani. You give me 21,000 rupees, I can fix it. He said, No, I don't have so much money. He said, Okay. You give me 5,100 rupees, I can fix it. He said, That is too much money, I don't have money. He said, Okay, give me 1,100 rupees, I'll fix it. This astrologer is asking. He said, I don't have so much money. He said, Okay, give me 100 rupees. He said, I don't have it. He said, Give 10 rupees. He said, I don't have it. He said, Then don't worry, even Shani cannot do anything to you. Why? For effect to take place, you have to do something, right? So if one is inactive, even the destined karma will not come to you. But as soon as you act, it will happen. But law of karma is so interestingly carved that in some occasions you're just sitting home and job comes to you because a friend comes and tells you. But that doesn't mean you don't go to work and still they pay you. You have to do your part. So that's why in English there's a term called quagmire. That means udhedum. It's a matrix of law, matrix of reactions. It is so tightly, so complicatedly knitted that it's very difficult to figure out what is leading to what. If you want to understand, okay, why I'm happy, what is the cause? It is so heavily knitted, our lives, because of multiple lives, millions of lifetimes of reactions, that is so complicated, so difficult to figure out what is leading to what. That's why Krishna in Bhagavad Gita tells Arjun, do not try to understand how law of karma works. You just try to get out of it, transcend it. Do not try to figure out what is causing what. Krishna knew, that's why he could tell Dhritarashtra. But Dhritarashtra, with all his intelligence, his council, his ministers, all the Brahmanas, rishis he had, he couldn't figure it out. The Lord, who is Paramatma, who knows past, present, future, had to tell him that this many lifetimes before you did this. So, now why we are even discussing these principles? Because this forms the crux of Vedic philosophy. But our crux of our modern current lifestyle is we live a very, I'm not naming or trying to put you in the spot, but most of us, we live a life which is very materially focused. And there is hardly any effort to feed the soul, the bird within. And for that we all know our own lives, how much effort we put in feeding the bird. And then immediately, because we have some religious affiliation, then we expect all prosperity, everything to happen to us because we affiliate ourselves with some religious things. It doesn't work like that. It really doesn't work like that. One really has to do conscious effort to gain transcendental knowledge, transcendental realizations, and really one has to put some effort to get some spiritual experience. It doesn't happen by chance. Because nothing happens by chance in this world. That's where Krishna's discussion with Arjun and Bhagavad Gita is very classic. You imagine Bhagavad Gita's first discussion which Krishna is doing with Arjun is about Atma Tattva, science of soul. First discussion. Only 18 shlokas Krishna explains what is soul. After that he never discusses about Atma. He goes on describing more deeper topics about different types of yoga, what Krishna's position is, how to really get over this, what exactly is happening in the creation. But he never talks about Atma again. This discussion which Krishna does about Atma does not even reflect an iota in most of the world religious teachings. And that's where our taking birth in land of Bharatvarsha is very fortunate birth. I'll repeat what I said. Krishna only describes about soul in few shlokas and he finishes it. And he never touches it because there is no need for Arjun to think about it again. He knows it. That same detailed explanation about the soul is not even coming or reflecting even a bit in most of the world teachings. And that is the power and potency of this Vedic knowledge. If we really can appreciate that, we can really go very far. And how fortunate we are coming in contact with Vedic teachings. Because no one can make a successful building without a strong base. Similarly, no one can be spiritually or religiously effective without establishing the base of Atma. I ask this very direct question. If we are only body and mind, why do we need God? If I am only body and mind, there is no concept of God required. Because what do you need for body to be happy and successful? Good nutrition, good health, some entertainment for the mind, some affection, all sensual pleasures which body needs. You don't need God in the picture if you are just body and mind. You just don't need. Because we are spiritual in nature. Our core is Atma, soul. For nourishment of soul, you need the source of soul, which is Paramatma. Otherwise, you don't need. Like I was telling yesterday, if now right in front of me, my father passes away and I'm crying, my father left me. You will just come and say, no, he's lying in front of you. On what basis are you crying? And who has left? Whom are you crying for? He's lying in front of you, right? Why are you crying? There is one devotee, he is no more there now. He was a PhD scholar, Damodar Maharaj. So he went for a scientific conference, and this was practically the most powerful scientists from all Europe, America, Australia, India were visiting in this conference. And the topic of the conference was life comes from matter. You understand what matter is? Matter is dead material. That causes life. And he openly challenged in that. He said, I will give you $60,000 that time. This is in early 90s. If you can create life from matter. And he said, my claim is life only comes from life, not from matter. You cannot produce life from matter. Only life can produce life. That means, that literally translates to the power, the potency or effectiveness of soul within us. That if someone is dead object, you cannot expect that dead object to produce another life. Because if a dead person is there right in front of us, and you try to really reduce that person to just chemicals, and you buy those same chemicals which may cost $50, $60, $100, create life. Buy $100 worth of those chemicals. Let's say $2,000 worth of chemicals. Let's say $10,000 worth of chemicals our body is comprised of. Create life. Forget about that. Create mosquito. Now people can create many powerful objects which can run on fuel, automated, whatever. AI can do so many things. But can AI really create mosquito? I was asking this question in a group of students and I said, do you know how complicated a rose is? Many artists, many 3D artists have created very beautiful roses with same patterns, same textures, same beauty. But the rose is so fragrant. One person said, you can spray perfume. I said, that's fine, that's intelligent, you're thinking. You can spray perfume in that 3D rose you created. They make no artificial plastic roses, you can spray some perfume. It can smell better than actual rose also. Then I said, what about the pollen which a bee comes and takes and impregnates another plant? You can artificially put. I said, okay, let's assume you can do that. What about honeybee coming and extracting honey from it? What intelligent creator the Lord must be that He has created a creation which is so complicated that the most finest brain cannot even replicate one flower. And the dare claim we do is there is no God. Just before this program, I was in another program in Winderville. So they took me in their garden. They wanted to show their garden with nice trees and all. So one of the trees there was nectarine. Who has eaten nectarine fruit here? Australia is very famous. White, yellow nectarine, right? Now nectarine is a man-made fruit. Most of you may not know. Nectarine is not a God-made fruit. So this conversation, there is a conversation with Srila Prabhupada, the founder of ISKCON. His disciples tell Srila Prabhupada that science has progressed so much that they have produced a fruit. And they were just glorifying the scientist, the person who was telling about this fruit. And it's very tasty. Actually, nectarine is very tasty. If it is ripe, yellow or white nectarine can be very tasty. Prabhupada told them, how did they create? After the whole glorification of science, Prabhupada asked, how did they create? He said, it's a hybrid fruit which is made from plum and peach. And Prabhupada said, this is my complaint. I am not against science because we use science for purposes. My complaint is that why don't you glorify the person who has created plum and peach? And that is my criticism. Then why don't you glorify the creator, God himself, who created plum and peach, and you are so much glorifying the person who used plum and peach to create nectarine. Amazing, no? We just forget. We just take it for granted. In COVID time, someone would come, you're struggling for oxygen cylinder, someone comes and gives you oxygen. You'll be thankful for life if they save any of your loved one. How many times you thank God for oxygen? Never. For many people, things like oxygen, sunlight is like dowry. मिलनी चाहिए. You deserve it. तो आनी चाहिए. You should get it. Huh? we don't thank because we don't think about it. Because we don't think deeper at all. Only thing we think about is what will give my senses pleasure the most. And those whom I am attached to. What will give them pleasure and my senses pleasure. And the whole idea of Bhagavad Gita and such discussion is to really rethink, revisit our lives. How ungrateful actually we are. The day we become grateful to what all gifts we have received from the Lord, we will question, how can we really pay you back, my dear Lord? This government takes water from you, gives it to us, they take the money, but we don't pay you back. Who is the actual source of water? Life, oxygen, all the resources. Who is the actual source of protection? Who is the actual source of nourishment? Who is the actual source of so much amazing knowledge? And people, when they are aloof from this knowledge, they are creating serious trouble for themselves. You know what is in India? It's a shocking figure. 90 million plus people are visiting and taking psychiatric help professionally. And this is only metropolitans. Other cities, towns, villages, forget it. 90 million. I mean, Indian population is too much that any number looks big there, but huge, right? And the whole concept of taking psychiatric help is taboo in India. It's really looked down on. You have a mental case at home. Oh, it's so bad. That's why people don't even reveal. But such a huge number is taking help. A kisan, a farmer would know and very happily would agree and adjust. Oh, it is my bad karma. This year's crop is bad. I must have done something wrong. That's why my life is such. Now, with godless civilization, when this philosophy, these principles are out, God is out of the picture, values are out of the picture, the only option they have when crop is bad is commit suicide. Nothing else. Why? Stress, anxiety is so high, so depressive. People are. In Japan, in most of the countries, when single men, especially the young girls, they will go to dark web. It will be for adult content. In Japan, their government is really working hard to track this dark web because younger generation is going there to do group suicides. And they have a term for it called karoshi. They would come together, sit in a car, lock the car, release carbon monoxide and go downhill, and they would faint initially and they would die. What pressure it must be. What lifestyle are they really living which is causing this pressure? What lifestyle are you going to offer to your children? What lifestyle are we living? It should really have a wake-up call. It should really lead to a wake-up call, honestly. And that's what teachings of Bhagavad Gita does to us. Just by going through this really time-tested old knowledge, so much can be understood, so much can be really transformed in our own day-to-day lives that it is mind-boggling. Just by opening there's a Bhagavad Gita behind you. While going, please take it if you don't have. Just by opening these pages and seeing what Krishna is telling Arjun, so relevant. 5,000 years before spoken, still relevant to me. Why? Because a universal principle remains universal throughout. It does not need support of circumstances, culture, society, time. No, it does not need that. Now, if these Gen Zs, they hear about grandmother stories, it is very outdated. That rule doesn't apply to Bhagavad Gita. So people, when they have to explain, like even in my lecture, I really have to come up with current examples to drive a point through. But that rule doesn't apply to Bhagavad Gita. Because it is universal teaching. It does not depend on the culture, tradition, caste, creed, nationality, religion, whatever you belong to. Because it applies to everyone. Like 2 plus 2 can be 4 anywhere in the world. Because it is coming from the mouth of Supreme Lord Himself. And Arjun became a recipient for our benefit. So with that thought, I leave you. If anyone has any questions, we can discuss, but please take advantage. If you don't have Bhagavad Gita, please have one. Anyone has any questions, we can discuss. Please, yes, sir.
I have a question about law of karma,
Yeah.
which you talked about. So, you talked about for the human beings. How about this law of karma for animals and plants? Because animals and plants and so many other species exist in life. So, how an animal is born and what, like, I have gone through few of the things and understood that you eat animal, you are going to be animal in the future, like whatsoever, like that. But if animal is born or animal is there, and what it has to do to be born as a human.
So your question has 2 parts. One is how the cycle is working and affecting animals and humans separately. So I'll answer that first. Law of karma, because it is a very just law, there is no fallacy, there is no mistake in that law, and it is a very kind way of nature and the Supreme Lord to grant good and bad to people. Law of karma does not apply to animals when they are in animal species. For what that means is, human being has higher intelligence. We have mind within us and then we have intelligence. So purpose of mind is to produce options of enjoyment if you have a desire. So deep within us, soul desires, mind produces options, and then intelligence comes and chooses, okay, this is good for you, this is not good for you. You can choose. For example, which part of India are you from?
I'm from Bangalore.
Bangalore. Any Gujaratis here? Gujarati. Any Marathi here? Marathi. Anyone from Punjab or Delhi here? Okay. So now we have 4 different areas in India. Now as soon as I say breakfast, traditionally, so what you can think of is dosa, idli, utpam, something. Marathi can think of poha, Gujarati can think of thepla, whatever, and then Punjabi will only think of paratha. Our options are very less. Now why so? Because your desire came for breakfast, your mind will produce options based on the sanskar or the impressions you have gained throughout your years of life. And then what intelligence will do? Intelligence, based on how much the intelligence is trained, it will say, okay, I want to eat healthy, this is good for you, this is not good for you. And if your intelligence is very weak in health and fitness, intelligence will agree to whatever is tasty. This is very tasty, I'll eat that. So these faculties are only given in I would say good capacity to humans. Because animals, they operate on instincts. It's not that animals don't have intelligence, but their intelligence is only and only limited to how they can maintain themselves. That's why animals can't produce gadgets. They really can't think beyond what their bodily needs are. They really cannot create very fantastic structures. Whatever is necessary for their survival, that much only nature has provided them with intelligence. Like ants. There is amazing research done on ant colonies. So that is required for their survival. So this group of ants, which is hundreds and thousands in numbers, they can create a colony. They have roadways, they have passages amongst their own colony. But that is only for their survival. They can't do any greater good to anyone else. But humans have this extra faculty, which is the intelligence. Intelligence purpose is to discriminate. So now because humans have this extra faculty of discrimination, law of karma only applies to humans. When someone cannot even discriminate, how will they choose what is right, what is wrong? Now you cannot go and tell tiger, don't kill animal, it is bad even. That deer feels pain. No, tiger will die. If you don't feed the tiger what the body demands. But for human, it's different. So first part of your question is, law of karma does not apply to animals. They only suffer or enjoy what they deserve from their previous activities in human form. Whatever mistakes they have done, that's why they fall into animal species. So there are 8.4 million species. Hindi means 84 lakh, there are 84 lakh species. So suppose if I there's nothing I can show. So okay, imagine this. This has 84 lakh species. So humans are here, and different animal species are here. Suppose monkey is here, goat is here, trees are here, aquatics are here, humans are here, cow is here, elephant is here. So if you are human species, and you do a mistake or you live a life based on whatever, and you fall into a deer species. So how law of karma, not law of karma, but law of evolution works is that you will progress from there on and come to human form. And then you get a chance to again do something where you can fall to any other species. Now, suppose you are here and you fall into a species which is the lowest amongst all other species. And you are just here. So you have to go through all the species and evolve gradually and come to human platform. That's why Darwinian's theory of evolution is heavily rejected. Because species does not evolve. Consciousness evolves. And based on the consciousness, the evolution of consciousness, soul gets particular body. Because if species was evolving, we must have some in-betweens of man and monkey now also. What happened that suddenly once monkey became man, they stopped changing anymore? The theory is fish is in the water. Fish decides to come out. Now fish doesn't have legs. So fish tried for millions of years to come out. Then gradually the fins turned into legs. And then the fish came out. Because now fish wants to walk. So gradually fish came out. Then fish wanted to go and climb the tree. So it took millions of years for the fish, which is almost on the land with legs now, to climb the tree. And gradually it became monkey. Now that monkey wants to become human. So it took another millions of years for monkey to become human. And here we are. this is evolution theory, basically. Where are the in-betweens who are still evolving? Why we have fish, why we have monkey, why we have human, and why we have tortoise? And no in-betweens. People are questioning. That's why current contemporary scientists, they have enough rejection for Darwinian theory of evolution. But somehow they don't have anything to replace it in textbook. Even though they don't agree, they just can't replace it. So that's how evolution takes place. Because the way consciousness evolves, species also goes to different bodies. Is that okay?
Yeah.
What was the second part of the question?
Yeah, like you told that humans will drop down and become
Can drop down
yeah. So
based on their activity.
yeah.
One example I'll give you, then I'll come back to you. Suppose a human being is very keen to eat only and only animal flesh and nothing else. Now, human body is not meant for it. Human body is not meant for it. Human body has better purposes, higher purposes. But the whole purpose of this particular human is to only eat animal flesh. Law of karma are very kind. They say that this is your desire. We will provide you with a body which will facilitate your desire and you can just enjoy what you want. If someone wants to sleep 16, 18 hours, human body is not meant to be wasted for that. Because it's the highest body amongst all species for better purpose, higher purpose. Now that person is using his intelligence for sleeping 16 to 18 hours. The human body will force that speech and that soul to get into polar bear, koala. You just eat, you can let sleep and you just sleep. And nothing else you have to do. Why? Because that's what your desire is. And what you desire is what you get. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Ye thamam prapadyante tam sateva bhajamyam. The way you surrender to me, I respect accordingly. And antakale chamameva smara mukta kalevam. Whatever is your consciousness at the time of death, that's the nature you get. If someone's consciousness is to constantly just think of how I can get opposite gender, how I can get opposite gender. Human life is not meant for that. Recreation is not the purpose of life. Procreation happens between man and woman and children are born. But if the whole goal is to just enjoy opposite gender, then naturally law of nature provides pigeon, monkey species who are very capable of constantly thinking and doing that activity. And that's how nature provides suitable body. Now you go.
Yeah. So what animals have to do to climb up the ladder to get the human life?
First thing animals have to do is just go through this cycle of evolution. There's nothing much they can do. Only if they are fortunate where a human can intervene with some really powerful spiritual, I would really like to use the word either prasad or some powerful sound vibration which can transform and cut through their karmic life. There is no other way otherwise for animals to evolve. So it's randomly, otherwise they will gradually evolve. There are cows, there are certain animals. There is a very famous deer in Bhagavatam, it's spoken about. That deer was Bharat Maharaj in his previous life. You know who is Bharat Maharaj? On whose name we have Bharat worship. That powerful king he was, on whose name India is known as Bharat. That Bharat Maharaj. He became so attached to a deer before leaving his body that he was only and only thinking about deer. Now law of karma has its own ways. You are thinking about a deer, you become a deer. So in next life he became a deer. But because he was spiritually very elevated, but due to some weakness or some mistake, he was constantly thinking of a deer. He was a very conscious deer. He would not roam around, play around with normal deers in the forest. He would only move around the hermitage of sages. And he would just sit where they are eating, they are doing their katha, and just listen to that. Next life he became Jad Bharat and he got liberated. But because he was conscious. But majority of the animals, they are so thickly controlled by their own ignorance that they have no choice. Unless a human interface. The many devotees, they have pets at home. The only thing that dog or their cat eats is prasad. That is very powerful. For them to cut through the cycle of evolution, to get a higher destination. Or there are some animals who are around places where constant holy name of the Lord is chanted. In south there are temples, there are crocodiles, if you know the temple, I can't remember the name of the temple. Vegetarian crocodile in the compound of temple. Padmanabha temple, right? Yeah. Have you heard of vegetarian crocodile? Only eats prasad of the Lord. That crocodile. Many elephants are, there are so many stories. So that's answer to your question. Is that okay? You wanted scientific answer more?
Not exactly.
Okay. Anything else?
So please ask questions because don't bring them to my Friday session and pro bouncer session. You have Sachin Tendulkar here, so take advantage. He will take all your bounces.
Yes.
I do have a question.
Yes, please.
In this spring, like after the rain, we do see many snails around the house.
Mm.
So there is a discussion between me and my daughter. We were like thinking how to kill the snails, and we came up with ideas, searching in the Google, like okay, put salt, it will dry and it will be dead. But my daughter is saying it is bad karma. So how I can convince her? Because if you leave, the plants will be killed. So this is the discussion. I don't have proper answer to her. So
You're very fortunate your daughter is saving you. Really. You have no right to kill any living entity.
what about
Only thing you can do is to take precautionary methods. Only kill a living entity if it is really causing you serious anxiety or can even lead to diseases. For example, certain mosquitoes and all that. And that too also, not just maja aa gaya. Don't enjoy killing different living entities because you have no right. Did you give birth to snails? What right do you have to kill them? You have no right. So use your intelligence, use some precautionary methods where you can avoid them. Give pain, get pain. Simple formula. So if you don't want pain, just don't do it. Find alternate ways to deal with it. I'm not expert in that field, so I don't know exact solution to it, but principle wise I'm telling you. In temples also we see all the time walking. My whole, especially in the morning hours, 3:30, 4 o'clock, it's so dark. I'm just super duper conscious that I should not step on a snail. Because we must be conscious, right? There was a hunter called Mrigari, very famous story. Mrigari. This hunter was famous and he was known to kill animals half dead. So, he would not slaughter them, he would make them half dead. So they would really suffer and then gradually die. That was his style of hunting. So one day Narad Muni was passing by and he saw who can be so cruel that he is not killing the animals but he is half killing them and they really suffer. Modern day also they do that. They just slit the throat of animal and then they really suffer and they die. Purposefully do it because the meat of an animal tastes better if the animal gradually dies. Because if you slaughter an animal straight away, neck separate, animal goes to a shock and the meat becomes very hard. But they want tasty tender meat, right? So they just slit the throat and let the animal suffer. It comes to a shock and then gradually they loosen up. In few minutes they suffer and they die. How cruel is that? So this Mrigari was doing that. So this Mrigari would do half dead. Narad Muni saw and approached him, why are you killing like this? And he preached to him heavily, just don't do it. He said, this is my business, that's my living, that's how I live. My livelihood comes from this. But he said, don't do half dead. If you want to kill, for money kill, but don't do half dead. But Narad Muni had a better plan for Mrigari. He was not encouraging him to kill, he wanted to take him out completely. Mrigari became purified by his association. He started asking questions, just reducing the story to short. He said, he agreed, I will not kill. Narad Muni said, I promise you that the Supreme Lord will maintain you if you stop killing animals. So Mrigari decided, okay, I will not kill animals, I will just do my bhajan. Just by hearing that this cruel Mrigari has stopped killing animals, all the villages from that area started coming with gifts. Because they want, when you go and meet a sage, you should not go empty-handed. You should take some gifts with you. Right? So when a sage is there, whether they visit your house or you come to meet them, always never let them go empty-handed. This is the basic culture. So everyone would go rice, atta, fruits, this, that, blah, blah, whatever. And they took. And he had so much that he had to distribute. So one day Narad Muni was passing by and Parashar Muni was with him, father of Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva wrote all the scriptures. So Narad said, I'll just meet my servant, this student here, and then we'll go. So Parashar and Narad Muni were waiting, and this Mridhari is coming, jumping, not walking straight, and then clearing the ground and paying Dandavat. Parashar said, is he crazy? Your student looks odd to me. Why is he behaving so? Narad said, you only ask him. Parashar asked him, why are you jumping? Why you don't walk straight? He said, I'm trying to avoid stepping over any ant on my way. That is the purification that happened to Brigari. Now, he can say, my guru is here, I have to walk. Heart becomes so soft that he just could not even tolerate stepping on an ant. And we want that purification to happen for us. That's why, congratulations, good job. Well done. You stopped your mother. Very good. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanande, Damodar Mas ki jai. We offer